Hello.
Hello. Just finishing my diary.
Oh, are we journaling?
No, I was just filling in my diary for the week just gone.
Oh,
with all the things because I
all
like
the things
to
you've done. That's good. So just a little lesson in how diaries work, Samara. We tend to plan what we're doing. But no, that's fine. That's all good, if that's the way we work. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to the Women's Football Review. I'm Maria. Here is Samara.
Oh, hello.
And you're Samara. I was going to do the whole thing and it didn't quite work. But anyway. So we obviously had a great start to the start of the women's season where the championship had started. And then we had the sad news that the Queen had passed away, and we had all of our football fixtures cancelled last week. Just out of interest, what did you think about the idea that football was off? There was lots of division, I found, amongst football fans, whether it should have been done or not. What do you think should have been done? Or what did you make of the situation?
I think it should have. I understand where they were coming from, because I know a lot of it, especially in the men's game, was centered around fan reaction to silences, things like that. But I think the football still should have been played, because I know for a lot of people that I knew that had losses very recently, it triggered a lot of feelings, and to go to the football would have been the ultimate distraction. And there's always going to be people that let themselves down, so they could have put things in place. They could have had an applause, or they could have just shown her picture, wore the black armbands, done something, played the national anthem, for example, because that would have drowned out any noise. And I would have understood more if the football fixtures were cancelled this weekend.
Yeah.
Because that's the time when you really can't, it wouldn't be nice at all for things to happen. But I just think it should have been allowed to carry on. Especially, I think women, it was going to be the opening weekend of WSL. It was sellout crowds. It was built up and up and up and up and up. And I'm just worried that losing that has lost people what they enjoy, because you could have been a person on your own, an older person, for example. I know a lot of older people were more affected by the news, that really, really loves football and was really, really devastated about what happened and lost the ability to be able to go out and talk to people. But I also understand that some of the reactions that possibly could have been and have been were very, very inappropriate.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was in kind of two minds over it. On one from a selfish point of view, and I think I said this to you, there was a bit of me that kind of thought, actually, because I was due to go to 2 football matches last weekend. I was going to the opener for the Super League, so I was gutted, actually, that was off, because that was kind of the big thing about it. It was the opener. It was going to be an amazing, sold out game, I believe. And now I guess that's been postponed. We don't know when that's going to be. So the whole thing of the opener has gone, really.
I don't think it is selfish, because it sounds harsh maybe, but your life still has to happen.
Yeah, I mean, for the selfish bit wasn't necessarily that I didn't get to go. I mean, in a way, I feel like I've now missed out on being able to go to that. But I also understand that for some people, showing respect by not doing things which are necessarily around entertainment, that's how they believe we should mourn and we should grieve and show respect. However, I don't, when we think about like I'm not going to say I'm a big royalist. I'm not, but obviously, you know, I have respect for the Queen, and it's very sad what happened. And I suppose the Queen was always someone who just got on with it, and it was always
Exactly. Yeah.
that let's keep going. So it
I feel
felt
like she wouldn't have been happy with the world stopping, because
stopping. Yeah,
when Prince Philip died, she was straight back on with it, because she's
yeah,
lived through so many things where you just have to
get
get
on with
on
it.
with it. But I understand, and I think obviously a lot of games were cancelled this weekend due to policing.
Yeah.
It would have, like I said, it would have made more sense to cancel. And I think a lot of people would have understood more and had less angry
Mm,
reactions to it if
yeah.
it had just been cancelled this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
think last weekend would have been the appropriate time to carry on, actually, because then we could have respect and moments of silence and all of that would have come at a time when it made more sense. It had just happened. People were, and I mean, at the moment, obviously, it's everywhere, all over the news. You can't really get away from it. But people were in that moment, I feel, more so at that point. A week on,
people have lived, haven't they,
and they've
since?
lived through it. As you said, people who've experienced grief and bereavements, not just recently, but even 2 3 years ago and beyond, were just almost drowned in it. And that isn't,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best thing for those people. And it can really, for a lot of people, going to football is an escape. It's something to look forward to. And literally, it was like everything shut down, and that thing that we look forward to had gone. The other thing though for me was that I just felt I had a really intense few months, and it was the first weekend where there was nothing actually. So there was a little bit
Yeah.
of me that was also like, okay, I can rest. I can just have a rest
I
and
think
not.
that was really important for a lot of people. And I think this year's just been, like we were saying in work the other day, the 2020s are going to be such a historical few years, because
Yeah,
it seems like everything historical has decided to happen all at
in
once.
one go. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's happening.
So hopefully it's boring from now.
I just think that there actually would have been more impact of the national anthem, a minute's silence, the black armbands last
Yeah.
weekend. And I really truly believe it would have been a minority that might have tried to do something stupid. And the majority of people at the matches would have actually been very respectful and probably told those people, put them in their place. So it's a
Yes.
shame. I've got concerns about how they're going to fit fixtures in now, especially with another weekend of
Especially,
disruption.
yeah, and it's like the women's league hasn't even got going yet. So it's
No,
like you said, we've got some teams are in the Champions League. You've got the Conti Cup will be coming up. The Women's FA Cup will be coming up. It's like, how are we going to fit it all in? It's set us off on the back foot.
yeah, and
I
for
think
teams
for
again,
Man City, oh,
it's
God.
that stop start, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think for Man City personally, it could be a good thing, because we had the very traumatic news of Kira Walsh departing,
Yeah,
which I am not happy about at all, and I will hold Lucy Bronze personally accountable for this move. But I think for Man City, it could be a good thing. But Man City is another kettle of fish at the minute. But I did get a letter that was supposedly from Gareth Taylor thanking me for my support and saying that he can't wait to see me at the games.
and that of course was just for you, that letter. Will you be
My
going up
mum,
to him? Will you be waving your
yeah,
leg? Thank you.
me and
I'm
everyone
here.
else.
We go for a pint now. Like, was that the purpose of your letter?
Oh, he was sucking up to me because I've been slagging him off on the show.
He wanted to personally write and just actually thank
Oh.
you for all things good.
I think with Man City, I think you are seeing the pull of European football,
Mm,
and also you're seeing I think there's a lot going on within the Manchester City women's setup, because Georgia Stanway did a very, very revealing interview saying how with England she has an identity, that she didn't have that at Man City. She was being used as a utility player. She didn't want to be a utility player. She wanted to be able to make a position her own. She basically felt very, very undervalued. And then you've got Kira Walsh, who left. And can we just say she left for it? I think it's 450,000, which is the biggest transfer, women's transfer.
Yeah.
And I read a comment that stuck with me, and it said, if that is the biggest transfer fee, what are they being paid? And I thought that hits the nail on the head, because that was the highest transfer fee in women's football. And you think 450,000 isn't far away from what some men are getting paid for a week.
Yeah. It's
So
insane,
what
isn't it?
are they getting paid?
Absolutely insane. It's crazy amounts of money. And, I still hold that's the women's game until it's bringing in that money and the sponsors and whatever. That's what football's about. It's about money.
Yeah.
There's this
If you're being
crazy
transferred
disparity between top paid players and the ones at the bottom who are, they're milkmen and mechanics and doing their day jobs and then training and then playing. And I don't know, you almost think, hang on a minute, these people are doing it
exactly. And I
purely for
think
the love.
if that's the highest fee, she can't be getting paid that much, and she's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
insane,
like,
isn't it? It's absolutely
I
insane.
love how Rich has highlighted his own comments just so we don't ignore him.
Rich, we're actually going to come on to this in a moment, so we'll
We're
come
going
on
to
to
ignore
it.
you.
Yeah,
We're
it's
not
on our
really
list.
ignoring you. We love you.
No, we are going to come on to that in a moment.
Yeah, and I just thought, like, for me, like, it just shows, like, if, like, Manchester City men bought Gomez for 11 million, I think, don't quote me, and that was a low transfer fee. And then Kira Walsh is the biggest transfer fee, and it's something like 450,000. And it's just like, she's very well paid and does not look like. Oh, I love Rich. He's so sweet.
It's okay, Rich.
We accept your mistakes and we love them.
You see, Rich, when we said we're not organised and we haven't planned anything, it's because we were just being very last minute at that moment. We had actually planned everything earlier. We're that slick that we forget that we've done it. No, but we have planned it. You can ask Samara. I can tell. Last night she sent me a message and she said, "What we're going to talk about tomorrow," and she can tell you my answer.
She went football. Lol.
The face
Can't hear you.
The face went from that. It was, we accept your mistakes.
That's not how Samara speaks.
So Uncle was just
get the Manchester accent right, Rich. Come on, let's hear it. She's choking live on air.
Bye.
She's doing the one chip.
Woo!
Did you see Rich's one chip challenge?
We should do it on here.
I ain't doing it. You can do it.
I'll do it.
Okay, cool.
What, you actually do it?
Yeah.
Good, because I've got a spare.
You've got a spare one?
Joking.
So Santiago, he was the one that initially was buying it for me, and it didn't turn up for a month. So I bought my own, and then it turned up afterwards.
How long did it take you? So we will get back to the women's football in a minute. How long did it take you to recover?
So during the stream, about 30, 40 minutes of pain, like severe pain.
Oh my God.
Then the next day, like my stomach was moving a bit crazy. But I was okay, but you could just tell that it was, the after effects. But yeah, I digress. See you later, guys.
Anyway, yeah. So Samara, you want to do the one challenge? Cool.
Okay, I've just Googled the actual transfer fee. It was 350,000. And it is a world record figure for a female player. A Ballon d'Or should be a Ballon d'Or nominee player. 350,000. That is, let me just do a Google. Oh my gosh. Kevin De Bruyne
Does he
earns
earn that a minute?
£400,000 a week.
Yeah, it's just
More
crazy.
than her transfer fee.
Absolutely crazy. And I don't know. I don't care what people say. I don't think there's any justification for some of the crazy sums that get paid for football
I'm going
players.
to Google Kira
But
Walsh wage.
it's insane. And, you know, the wages, the pay, it's going to take a very long time before that goes up. And there's still so much negativity. I don't know if you've looked how much you've kind of paid attention to comments and stuff. Still huge amounts of negativity. And I saw that whole thing about Georgia Stanway's transfer and people just being horrible. And they're like, oh, well, this just proves that it's not, women's football isn't worthwhile and it's not of the same quality and so on. And I just really, really, really want to emphasize and reiterate women's football and men's football are different. And also, women were banned from playing football professionally and competitively in that sense for how many years? For years.
This is why you have to hide, because you're so distracting.
Yeah, Rich is showing us the one chip. That sounded really dodgy. But yeah, women were banned from playing for 50, is it 50 years? Or am I making that up? But anyway, for a huge amount of time. And during that time, the men's game went from, you know, men being paid not a huge amount of money to being paid millions. So there's a huge amount to catch up on.
Yeah, it says here her salary is 45. I can't read maths.
45,000 a year.
45,000 a year, US dollars.
So $45,000. That's even less than pounds then. Oh, actually, I think dollars at the moment are about the same. But that's insane because
that's less than some head teachers make. I think in London.
That's less than some teachers make in London, experienced teachers. So it's insane when it's compared to the men's game. So absolutely insane. Although, as we said, we don't want to be comparing to the men's game in that sense, but the disparity is so huge that questions do need to be asked. And obviously, you know, we know that attendance needs to increase and so on, but that's why we're here. That's why we want to promote and talk about women's football, because there's not a single person who has been to that I know of who's been to an actual match and not left going, oh my God, that's brilliant. Loved it. So, you know, if you've not been to a women's football match before, please go and support your local women's team. Get down there and enjoy it. It's got to be done.
Talk about Rich's questions, make him feel better.
Yes.
We'll talk about your question now, Rich.
We're ready.
Do you think the momentum from the Euros has been lost? I do, and I agree with Rich. I don't think enough has been done. Actually, I went to the Blackpool Illuminations last weekend, and the Lionesses had their own little bit of illumination, which I thought was pretty cool. That's got nothing to do with it. But I agree. I think momentum has completely been lost, and I think, unfortunately, it's done what we feared it would.
Yeah.
In the sense of it was a bandwagon event that a lot of people jumped on, and now, because the men's football's come back, they've gone, oh, we don't really need you now. We needed you when there was no football now. And I think we might see the same thing happen with the World Cup, because there will be there'll be no men's football. So everyone will go, oh my God, the Lionesses.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see attendance at games, but I don't think much has changed, really.
I agree. I think the momentum actually, and I'm sure that I said this on it might have been on a show with Rich actually, but I said my fear was that a week or two later, after the end of the Euros, once the men's season started, that'd be it. We wouldn't hear much about it anymore. And we don't. And I don't think there's much. I mean, maybe with the Super League starting, maybe something. There might be a bit more of a revival. But to be honest, I just don't think anything has majorly changed. I mean, in terms of the big women's teams, the major ones, the ones at the top of the Super League, they've sold out. A lot of them, some of them have sold out of their season tickets for the first time. So that's great. But I think we also need to bear in mind women's season tickets are like 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of, you know, the teams were very clever, jump on it as soon as the Euros were over. People will buy those tickets. I'd be interested to see if the attendance at the beginning of the season is maintained throughout the whole season, because I think as a football fan, if you spent 50 quid on a season ticket, which is what you would normally pay for a match ticket, you might not be as inclined to go to every single match because it's just 50 quid and, you know, you didn't pay hundreds.
I think so. And I think, like what you said, I hope I'm wrong, but I think people they bought it because of the hype, and then it'll get to, like, for example, City's first game should have been 7 o'clock on a Sunday. It'll get to 5 o'clock on a Sunday, and they'll go, "Can you be bothered?" Nah, not really.
Yeah.
Because
and the other thing,
there's no hype.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing hyping it up anymore. And the other thing is, suddenly people who might have gone to Euros games, big packed out stadiums, are going to go to a women's game where you might just have one stand. If you're going to the main stadium of that team, so for example, Crystal Palace are playing on Sunday at Selhurst Park. If you're someone who's going because you've watched the Euros, you would have seen a full stadium with every stand open and loads of people in it. If you go on Sunday to Crystal Palace, and this will be the same, I know it's the same at other grounds as well.
It's the same at Manchester City Academy as well.
It's one stand that's open, one stand. And I think they've sold so far, I mean, it's record breaking for them, but they've sold 1,000, or they've made it quite clear, 1,300 tickets have so far been either bought or given, you know, to local schools and stuff. And I think that's the equivalent actually of one block. So they're going to be spread across a stand. And I think people are going to go expecting something different because of what they've seen on the Euros. And suddenly they're going to go along to an empty stadium. And I'm not sure what can be done about that. So it's like we really need to gear people up and promote the games more, get people excited about it, actually have women's football fans, not just fans of the Euros who are going to go and they're expecting something very different.
If they go, for example, they might, because obviously not all the lionesses that play for all the teams.
Yeah, they're not going to see players.
So again, they're not going to know the players in both the teams. They're not going to, and I think you'll be able to tell the people that have just jumped on the hype because they'll be like, it was shit, it was rubbish, I didn't like it. But they need to stay and they need to get behind the teams, because the only way it's going to be packed out like the Euros is if we keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And if, like, I've noticed the amount of adverts have dropped. I've noticed that advert, I don't know if it was specifically for the Euros, but that advert with Jordan Henderson.
It was for the Euros, I think.
But I've noticed that there's not been anything done in collaboration with the men's football for the domestic league. And why not do an advert like that for the domestic league? Because it was like everything was to push England, but would it have been to push England if the men's and women's Euros would have been at the same time? I don't think it would have.
No, of course not. Definitely not.
And that's what we need to see. Filler.
We need to see the men's teams, the men's, you know, the men from Manchester City, for example, pushing Manchester City women. And I know they did a little bit. Every team did a little bit straight after the Euros. And for some
Yeah,
teams,
really good.
it was almost like they were jumping on the bandwagon as well.
Yeah, 'cause they
they were
started
jumping on their
posting.
own bandwagon.
I know for
Yeah.
Man City women, I don't think I've ever seen them post about the women's birthdays on the Man City general account.
They started
And now
doing it now.
suddenly it's happy birthday, Chloe Kelly, happy birthday.
Someone else.
Happy birthday, Ellie Roebuck. And I don't think they've done that before, which is great, but I think it's not enough.
Yeah.
Like, why are we not going crazy about the fact that WSL is set to start this weekend? Yes.
Yeah,
No.
it is this weekend.
Yeah.
Today, isn't it?
It's because it's yes. I think I should know.
Arsenal
We
play
should
today,
know.
aren't
Guys, we are tired because we work hard. I don't.
Yeah, I think a lot more. There's just still huge amounts that needs to be done.
Yes,
And
tonight it is Arsenal and Brighton at 7:30.
I was right.
And is it on telly? I knew it was this weekend. No,
It should be on Sky, shouldn't it?
it
Is
doesn't
it the
say
Super
Sky
League on Sky?
Sports because I think there's Premier League.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not. Well, again, it's that thing. People still don't know where to watch it, where to access it. You know, you
How
might
can
hear
they
Arsenal.
manage
You'll
to
hear
show?
Arsenal are playing, and you might think, "Oh, I'm going to rock up to the Emirates," and then you get there, and there's nothing there because that's not where Arsenal play. They play in
This
Boreham
is the
Wood.
thing as well. Why are they not saying this? So come and see
It
Manchester
needs to be
City
made
women.
clear.
No, come and see Manchester City women at the City Academy. Come and see Arsenal at wherever they play. And like the football, how can they manage to put multiple men's games on at the same time, but they can't seem to put a man's and a woman's game? And they can't seem to put multiple WSL games on at the same time.
These are very big questions, Samara.
Because I think because still they don't want to because they can't be bothered to. But then they could show all the women's Euros because it was a hype, a bandwagon event.
Yeah. And
So
then, you know,
I think we've still got a long way to go.
Yeah. And that's exactly what my concern was, that it's just like the World Cup. You suddenly get people watching the World Cup because it's the World Cup. I remember I used to work with someone. She was obsessed with it. She was literally like, oh, the World Cup, the World Cup. And I remember going to, God, I didn't even know you liked football. And this is literally, she said, I don't like football. I like the World Cup.
That is literally I hate people like that. I like England, but I don't like football. No.
It doesn't make sense. It's like, so
really
what is it that you're enjoying here? And
I think it's good.
It's like a mental block of not understanding it's the same thing. But I
Yeah.
think it's what they like is the idea of a whole country pitted against another country and winning, and that excitement.
I like the fact that World Cups, Euros draw people in, but then the people need to stay. And that's, I think, the thing for the women's game. And I think the Euros has done a lot to inspire young girls to play football, and that hasn't stopped. You see a lot of girls buying football shirts with women's footballers' names on. I know a lot of girls have signed up for football. So it's not stopped in that sense, but unfortunately, that's not going to make the change. The thing that's going to make the change is the media and the things like that.
And it's like there's multiple things that need to happen, because you're right. What has happened is that there's now seemingly more opportunities for girls to go and play football. Great. Now I know, and I've got a friend who's got two young daughters who are really inspired by the Euros, have never had an interest in football before, but suddenly want to become professional football players. And there's opportunities for them now to go and play and train, which is great. So we now have this disconnect, actually, and quite a big problem, where we've got a whole generation of girls who want to become professional footballers. Now that's brilliant. But if we're not promoting the professional game at the moment and supporting it and going to watch it and investing in it and playing at stadiums instead of little football grounds, then there's nowhere for those girls. That those girls' dreams are actually shattered, because what they saw at the Euros is it's the same thing as we said with the stadiums, is what they believe professional football is about. That's what they think it is. So we're talking Wembley packed out, or Brentford, or wherever it was. But the reality isn't there, because it isn't a professional. Even the top professionals, like you're saying at Man City, the top female players, they are playing at small football grounds where fourth tier teams. I know City is a bit different because they've got their own ground. Well, they've got the academy, but we're talking grounds where sometimes fourth tier men's teams are playing. And if you've been to any of those, you know, you're talking like a fancy school pitch kind of thing. It's obviously you've got a full-size football pitch, but you might have seats, you might not have seats. You might, so the problem, what they've done is they've invested in getting young girls to go and be interested in football. Brilliant. Not quite manage the fan bit. So those girls are going and playing football, but they're probably not watching any women's football. And there's what they think is going to happen at the end of it doesn't exist at the moment. So until there's investment at the top, then actually everything they're doing at the bottom, which is amazing, because we've been talking about grassroots is really important, and it is amazing, and the academies and so on. But until all the other stuff is fixed, all of that is going to lead to a lot of disappointment and nowhere to go. It's like training a million doctors, but there's only one hospital that only needs 10.
And it's like what you say, like where can there's barely any games shown. They can't even. So they've gone from being able to see these women week in, week out playing,
to see nothing,
to see nothing on the telly, nothing. Almost like we care about you, nobody cares.
Yeah,
that's how it will feel. It's like, for example, if anyone's seen the trailer for the little. Also, Rich, I'm asking you live on air. You need to show your daughters the trailer for the new Little Mermaid and film their reaction, because I spent a good hour the other night crying, watching TikToks, watching little black girls. One of them just collapsed on the floor because she was like, oh my God, she looks like me. She's got dreadlocks. Bang, on the floor. But please film your daughter's reactions to this trailer. But anyway, that's not the point. But it's like that. We fought and fought and fought for black girls to feel beautiful. Hollywood film. They're seeing that it can happen. We fought and fought and fought for girls to get interested in football. Nothing is there. Yes, the WSL is there, but like you said, the WSL, they could go and watch Arsenal and there could be 50 people there. Yeah. That's not the dream that we have sold these girls. Yes, we can say to them, it's going to get better. But if you can't see something get better, you really, really, really struggle to be inspired. Like these beautiful black girls now, they can see that you can do things. Yeah. But I know when I was little, there wasn't a black Disney princess. So I used to be like, oh, I can't dress up as a princess. And it's like this for these girls. What are we? Rich said it wouldn't be authentic because she's seen it. Just do it anyway. Tell her to act. Yeah, and exactly, like we're showing there's nothing for them now. We've said to them, look what you can do. Actually, you can do it if you want to be underpaid, it not be on telly, nobody care, and there to be 3 people
huge amounts of abuse.
Do you know what I mean? And
everyone tells you it's rubbish, really.
It feels like Sky TV invested in this dream to get people to watch their TV channel.
Yeah.
Not because they actually cared. And that makes me very sad.
Well, that's where it really is down to clubs, fans, just people in general to be supporting this and to be putting pressure on the media to be televising matches. You know what? Put it on the BBC or ITV where you can watch it for free. Put it on there, because we already know there's a paywall in watching football anyway, because whatever we say, yeah, football's for everyone. But, you know, like this week I was thinking, I don't really want my subscription to Sky. As in, overall, I don't want to be paying 70 quid a month or whatever it is. But then if I get rid of it, then I can't watch football. And it's really stupid, because then that means that you're stuck at this point of you have to spend loads of money to watch something, and that obviously creates more money and da 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 da. But if we before all of that, football used to just it used to be on telly, on like ITV or whatever. I remember being like the weekend and being really bored because my brothers and my dad just wanted to, they had it on, and I just remember, you know, Manchester City 1, da 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 2, and those kind of all those memories.
That was the best. That was the best.
But you don't get that anymore, and you can't access it unless you've got money. It's so steeped in money, and yet we keep being told there's not enough. There's no investment in women's football. Blah blah blah. There's no money in it. Stick it on terrestrial TV then, so we can watch it and get some backing and some fans, because that's where football used to be. Men's football wasn't as massive as it is now. Put it where someone can see it, and then I can guarantee you, if you're going to go down the pay to watch route, in 10 years' time, when it becomes really big, then people might pay to watch it. Because at the moment, people aren't going to pay a Sky subscription to watch.
And I think it's very, very telling. You've got George Stanway, Kira Walsh. They've gone. Lucy Bronze.
To where football's massive.
They've gone to where they are respected more, where they are paid more, where they are appreciated more, and they are gone. We are lucky that Vivienne Miedema and Beth Mead, who are also the best couple in the world ever, they're a couple now. Did we know this? Well, we know this now. We're lucky that people like that are staying, because I'm very worried that they're soon going to go. Actually, it's a good job they play for Arsenal for a start, but it's very telling that we are getting a lot of the top players. They're going to where women's football is moving. It's not perfect, but it's moving up where it should be over here.
It is, and it just seems that in Europe and in America, it's just a completely different attitude towards it.
Yeah.
And you know, people want to watch it. They see it as football. It's just football. Yeah. Remember that there was that whole tagline during the Euros. It's not women's football. It's just football.
Well, clearly it is women's football.
And so, like, but traveling fans, people actually coming over from Germany to come and watch their women's national side was incredible, and the same for all these other countries. And do we have a big traveling contingent that would follow England, the Lionesses? Maybe now you might, but not pre this year's Euros. So, you know, I don't. The Euros has done a lot in some ways, and in other ways, it's gone. It's done
a lot for the young. It's done a lot for the sport, like the grassroots level.
Yeah. It's done a lot for the sport.
But then there's no dream to be realised still.
Yeah. So until that's there's going to be a lot of girls who are going to be very disappointed, because
they'll do it. Yeah, and we'll get a lot of girls that'll go, actually, why can't I watch it? Why can't I do this? Oh, no one really cares about it. You know what girls are like.
If you're just
no one really cares about it
and it's not there, you can't watch it. Where's your inspiration?
They can't be bothered then, and then they'll be like, well, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because it won't be because they don't want to do it, it's because they think no one cares about it.
But it's that thing as well where, you know, so you'll get little boys wanting to be, I don't know, I'm just going to use a crap example. I want to be like Ronaldo. You see Ronaldo all the time. Your face. But what I mean is, it's someone that everyone knows. You see him all the time. Yeah. He's on TV. He's everywhere. But then you might get a little girl going, I want to be like Georgia Stanway. Well, where is she?
Where is she? Yeah.
But it's true. Where is she? You're not going to put the telly on. She's not going to be on the TV. She's not on.
But she was everywhere
But
when
now
she
she's
was
gone.
everywhere when TV needed her to be
Yeah.
everywhere.
So there's
It's one of
no
those
one to look up
situations.
to
Yeah.
unless you have got someone who is actively taking you to women's football matches or you're watching it. And it is a pretty, I think you've got to be quite dedicated to the women's game, because you do go to, I've been to a women's match where, to
Yeah.
be honest, I'm convinced there were no more than 10 people there. So
We've got to keep sticking at it. And like you said, like we just said George Stanley, and it's always like, just like if you look in history and society, the women were used when they were needed to be used, and then it's gone, right, can't bother now, the men's game. And I guarantee you next summer it'll be, oh my god, the Lionesses.
yeah.
And it's
And
like,
they're going to be under pressure. If they don't deliver the goods,
yeah,
that's when it's something like, well, women's football's rubbish, they can't do this, they're not as good, da 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 da. So, but anyway,
we need proper change from high up. But shall we move on to the fixtures? I
let's
don't know why I
move
did
on.
this.
Fixtures. Do you want me to shall I quickly run through the last set of results from the championship? Because we didn't, I don't think
I meant the results.
The results. And then I'll do fixtures. So we're just going to focus on championship and Super League.
Yes.
So the last set of games, it feels like it was years ago. It really wasn't. And I was at one of them. I was at the last Crystal Palace women's game. I'll be going all the fixtures so far. And can I just say that Palace game was one of the biggest turnouts I've seen at their home ground. So that's really good. I really hope that tomorrow people will find out more about where the next game is, because it won't be at Selhurst Park, and that hopefully they will go. So, and Palace now do a season ticket, which they weren't doing on the first game. So it's really cool. So there is access to being able to go. So, sorry. So we had Crystal Palace women play Coventry United ladies, and Palace won 3-0. It was a great game. Sheffield United women played Durham women, and that was 2-0 to Sheffield. Sunderland v Birmingham, so Sunderland 0, Birmingham 4. Birmingham are looking sharp in the championship.
They're a good team, aren't they? Yeah.
They are good. They're really good. Charlton Athletic played the London City Lionesses, which is not the Lionesses, people. I know there's been some confusion over the name. They're not the Lionesses. So Charlton 3, Lionesses 4. Bristol City 2, Blackburn Ladies 0. And then I don't know if it's Lewes or Lewis. I never know how to say it, but Lewes.
I think it's Lewes, isn't it?
It's Lewes, isn't it? Played Southampton, and it was 2-2, so it was a draw. And Palace women are currently sitting top of the table. They're really pushing for promotion, so I'm really excited for Palace women, and I hope that the overall team's excitement and enthusiasm at the moment for the women's game is going to continue, because it has to in order to keep that momentum going. So then we had all the postponements last week, which was a shame.
Yes.
And so we move on to, hold on, let me just pull up the weekend's games. So they're all taking place on Sunday.
Apart from tonight, isn't
that's Super League tonight. This is the championship.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we've got
where Manchester City will be next season.
Well, you don't know. It's a nice league. Nothing wrong down there. So Durham will be playing Blackburn. Crystal Palace, Southampton. I'll be there. They're playing at Selhurst Park, which is really exciting.
Hey.
Charlton will be playing Birmingham. Lewes will be playing the London City Lionesses. Sheffield United will be playing Coventry United, and Bristol City will be playing Sunderland. All of those games are on Sunday. So if you are a big fan of the championship, women's championship, Sunday is the day. And I do believe you can watch them all on the FA Player. Hey. So they are available to watch for free. So it is free to watch. But you just need to make sure you obviously have the player. So then we finally start the Super League. So as oh, sorry, let me just get it up. So
Oh,
as
she's not good, is she?
sorry,
Joking,
I'm trying to be
love
really
you.
clever without having to look at this. So as Samara said, it kicks off tonight, 7:30. Arsenal v
Yay!
Brighton. Have you got a prediction for Arsenal v Brighton?
I would have said Arsenal are going to absolutely smash them about 5-0, but Brighton are not a terrible women. They're like they're neither is their
They're
men's
not
team.
terrible women.
Brighton, they're not terrible women. They're good women. No, but both. Yeah, I reckon 3-1. I mean, it's Miedemar and Mead, isn't it? I think, yeah.
Arsenal are going to win. Yeah, I mean, I'd made an official
They've
prediction
got to
somewhere.
win. Brighton are brilliant, and they are a very, very strong team. But
yeah, Arsenal.
also, I love
and it's the
Arsenal's
opener.
manager.
Arsenal have now got the opener, so they will
Well,
be.
they were supposed to have. They were supposed to play us first game of the season. I'm pretty glad they didn't because we lost about 10-0.
So then we've got tomorrow Manchester United playing Reading.
Yes.
That'd be an interesting one, actually. I think United will win, but Reading are a really good team.
And United have Nikita Paris now.
Yeah, I mean, they'll do well. And then we've got Sunday's matches. Aston Villa playing Manchester City. Leicester City playing Tottenham. West Ham United playing Everton, and Liverpool playing Chelsea. So Liverpool making their debut in the league.
Yes.
So it'd be interesting to see.
Hope they lose.
I'll be following them from afar, the women's team, this year.
She supports Crystal Palace.
I support Crystal Palace women's. That is true.
And Crystal Palace men's.
Liverpool women, I am interested to see how they do. I would love to see them go all the way, but I don't know. I don't feel I know enough about them. But I have to say, I think Liverpool, I've been really impressed with how they've been promoting their women's team. They've really embraced it.
They are one of the better teams.
Very good.
Who's my favourite? I actually follow one of the Liverpool women's players on Instagram.
Which one?
Taylor Hines, she's called. She's absolutely incredible. Follow her.
Is this the latest thing? Are we gonna do finger wagging?
Cool kids do. But yeah, I think Liverpool. I think they'll stay up.
You do.
I think Man City will go down.
Do you
I'm
really
not joking.
think you're going to go down?
I've got a bad feeling. No. I don't think we're bad enough to go down, but I don't think we're going to do anything.
You can't see them winning or winning any of the cups, or
because I think Ellie Roebuck is now by far our best player. But what can she do for defense? Isn't great. You've got Demi Stokes, love her, but she is getting to the older side of the game, which is weird to say, isn't it, when someone's still that young? We've got Mary Fowler, we've got Felipe Angeldal, who are very just young. Our better players are either veterans now or coming up to be veterans, or they're very, very young. Like Mary Fowler's like 18 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of. I read a thread on Twitter all about Man City, and it just said there's got to be something going wrong. And apparently Gareth, I'm coming for you again. Gareth Taylor refuses to accept any responsibility. Yeah, and he passes the buck. So apparently, I can't remember when it was, but after a game last season, he just completely passed the buck to his players, basically saying that he did nothing wrong. It was the players' fault, blah blah blah. So I think that's a case of there's something going wrong and it needs to be. And it doesn't. I liked what this thread said. It doesn't speak. That's really out of sync with the City football group.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the way Manchester City football group is run, that's not happening anywhere else. It's not happening anywhere all the way down the academy, all the way up to the first team. It's not happening. So it's very, very bizarre for it to be happening. So I think we need to get rid of him. But we'll see.
Shocking.
I want Emma Hayes. Justice. But she will never leave Chelsea, and I would love to see her manage a man's team, but I don't think she will.
That'd be awesome. I want to see that happen. I want to see that happen in the English league.
She is my favourite person ever. I think she's
Are
brilliant.
you? Is there a match? Is there a team? So apart from your team, that you would like to go and see, or that you're particular, or that you're thinking, they're really good. I'd like to.
I really don't want to say it, but I'm gonna just have to grow up and say Manchester United.
Oh, okay.
You mean you've got Ella Toon? No, not Palace. You've got Ella Toon. You've got Alessia Russo. You've got Nikita Paris. I'm really excited to watch them because I think Toon and Russo are going to be invigorated from the Euros.
Yeah.
And then Nikita Paris, she was great at Man City. Then she went to Lyon.
She upset a few people, hasn't she, recently?
Then she went to Arsenal. She needs this, but I think they're gonna, and Liverpool. I think Man United are gonna be a force to be reckoned
You think
with.
Liverpool are going to win? I mean, sorry, you think Man United are going to win the league?
No, don't think. No. I think Chelsea and Arsenal again. And I think that just comes down to manager.
We should do some predictions for the league after this, and we will we'll look back at the league, at the predictions at the end of the season.
Stop trying to push your Palace agenda on me.
I know, he's got such an agenda, hasn't he? I do think Palace are up there, and I know they've only played 2 games, but I think they are potentially gonna.
I think we will see them in the WSL. I like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we'd like to see Palace up there. So that, I think, gosh, that's amazing. We've actually done nearly an hour. We have been talking for 1 hour. So I'm off to see Palace on Sunday. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to. I'm going to try and watch the Arsenal game tonight. So isn't that sad? We're like, I'm going to try if I can find it, and da.
Yeah, but it should be easy.
It is on Sky somewhere, so I will be watching.
Oh my gosh, I am so angry right now. Oh no, I'm not. Never mind, I read it wrong. I thought I missed the Liverpool Man City women at home, but I don't. Woo! I am not going to a City women's game until. Bear with me, just on my calendar. I'm not going to that one because it's ballet exams. So I'm missing the first game of the season now because it's dance exams. When I wasn't going to be. Oh, my first one is Sunday the 30th of October, City versus Liverpool.
Da, da, da.
So I can see Taylor Hines in the flesh as well.
When are you? Yes, well done, Rich. When are you coming down? When are you coming for your super wonderful tour of South London?
In 2023.
Good.
That's actually only 4 months away.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Right. So I am going to bid everyone goodbye. Thank you to our one watcher.
Which is Rich on another device.
But we know that it's early because everyone who's watching us now.
Who's Morley?
That's like what you've just said is like you've just sworn by saying who's Morley. Do you know what Morley's is?
I don't know. I don't. The only thing I know about London is The Only Way is Essex.
It's not even in London.
Queen.
We will tell you what Morley's is later. It's not a person.
Oh.
But we're going to wish everyone goodbye on that note. If everyone would like to tell, if our South London-based friends would like to let Samara know what Morley's is, then that would be great. But thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Let's have an awesome start to the Super League.
Yes, let's do it.
Bye.
Oh.